Rich Rodriguez, from KJ Harris, Big Joe, Kevin Koken, T.O.R.
And man, just keep doing what you're doing because you have a message.
I think one of the greatest college running backs ever, obviously in the history of West Virginia, but also if you look at the stats, what he did in college football.
Okay, Mountaineer fans, listen, this has been a long time coming for me. I can't even put it into words how humbled I am and blessed and honored to God to have this particular individual on my platform. And his life has been so legendary on and off the field. I'm going to say this right now. We're going to do two parts for this particular guest because he's warranted that, probably even more. But I have none other than Fred Boom Smalls on my show, Relatively Sports, with Eugene Napoleon. And again, I'm so blessed, humbled, and honored to have this man on. What up, Boom?
Shalom. Shalom, shalom, my brother. Shalom. Peace to you out there. Man, it's just everything, family, life is all a battle, but it's all worth the battle, honestly. It's all worth the fight. And I'm just taking one day at a time, just trying to get better and better myself every day in everything, from spiritual to mental to health, relationship, whatever I can do, man, to better myself. I take those opportunities to do that.
Wow, that's what's up. That's what's up. I have to go back and start it the right way when you're interviewing a legend like yourself, and I know you're humble, so I can put that out there. You grew up in Philly.
Yes.
Could you please tell the viewers how difficult was it growing up in Philly and then making some of the decisions you had to make to keep yourself on track?
I believe that I was a little bit more advanced for a street than most of the other players and people at West Virginia, because the way things are now, that's the way I grew up back then. I already was rotating in that cycle of gangs, and I was a gang member myself, and coming from the streets of gang war and being with my friends and getting shot at, and my friends getting shot in my arms, and me running one of them to the hospital while he got a bullet in him. I was already in that type of a place before. Now it's everywhere. Before it wasn't where you were from, it was where you were at. But now in the day, it's everywhere. And coming from Philly, which was at that time probably the third as large cities, number 4. I think Houston's moved in that spot. But coming from Philly in a big city, your mind is always big. You think big, you think fast, because that's just the way you're taught. But coming from Philly and going to Morgantown was a total just readjustment for me. It was a readjustment for me. And in Morgantown, just taught me, I don't have to be that way. I don't have to be like that. You don't have to have your guard up, Freddie. You don't have to watch everybody. So I went to a place where I had to learn how to adjust into it and not be so much be on guard or be alert, because that's what Philly did. I mean, you came out of that city, you didn't trust anyone, man. You didn't matter. That's just the way the streets taught you not to trust back then. And being from a gang called Kamak and Butler, who I gang war against a gang called Nicetown, it was just, we gang war back then. There was no drive-by stuff. It was straight up prison type gang war style of fight. That's what it was. The brass knuckles, the knife, and the bat, and the stick. And that's what you did. And you go down to, in the day before I went to West Virginia, this is funny, Eugene, the day before I went, it was a Sunday, and that's when the DJs used to come out in the parks back then and scratch it up and host DJ competitions in the park back then. You don't see that much anymore, but me and one of my friends of ours, we was out there just standing and listening to the music, checking the ladies out and all that, and some guy walked up and shot my friend, put cap on us, shot him. I'm calling Collab on the phone and telling Collab what happened. He was like, oh my God. That's the day before I had to go go into West Virginia.
Wow.
I left that Monday. I left that Monday morning, and he got shot that Sunday night. So I went from the hospital to the Greyhound bus station.
Wow. Wow. So you're talking about literally for people who really don't understand inner cities and the culture. Is it fair to say Coach Nehlen, WVU, pretty much saved your life?
Well, that's what everybody noticed. His relationship and my relationship is a unique one, and everybody knows that because they knew that in Coach Nehlen's book on the sideline, you remember what he wrote? He said, it was West Virginia was just not, bringing in football players and getting an education and putting guys in the pros. He said in his book, education is Freddie Smalls. He said West Virginia is Freddie Smalls. Taking a kid from an inner city, coming into a place like this and resurrecting his life and transforming his life into something. And look what he is now. He said, that's West Virginia. Look at Freddie now. Yeah. That's West Virginia. And that's in his book, man. I was like, wow, it just brought tears in my eyes. And Coach Nehlen, we were with him this weekend.
Yeah,
I saw him a month ago. And they said, the first person they came to said, Freddie, Coach Nehlen's up in the room eating one of the boxes. Man, I ran up there and got him. He came down and sat with us, and it was a moment. It was a moment to him to look at all these men that he pioneered into gentlemen, that he mentored into fathers and husbands. And I'm telling you, if it wasn't for Coach Nehlen, if it wasn't for the Dan Nehlen way, I don't know where I'd be today. I have to put it like that. I don't know where I'd be today. He was an inspiration for my life. He was the complete root of Jesse. He was the root of Jesse in my life that transformed me into the way to what I am now. This was Coach Nehlen did. That's what Coach Nehlen was the pioneer behind that, to put me on that track and allow me to become a visionary, to want to be somebody and be somebody positive and be somebody special. That's what Coach Nehlen changed my mind. I don't have to have my guard up. I can put them down now, and adjust to life. Freddie, we love you. Freddie, we're not going to fight you. We're not going to jump you. We're not going to steal from you. You can put the guard down. It's okay here at West Virginia. That's what West Virginia did for Freddie Smalls, man. Definitely, man. Yeah.
It brings literally goosebumps to me, man, to hear that, because I don't think people, unless you go there, unless you took a visit to Morgantown, you went through the state of West Virginia, I don't think people really understand the wholesomeness of the people in that state.
Right.
Would
you just hit on something? I'm driving through the state coming up from Marshall. I'm not even near Clarksburg. I'm in the middle of the state. Just stopped and got my wife wanted to get some coffee from McDonald's, right? I'm in McDonald's and somebody's going up to the woman and said, my wife, and says, is that Boom Boom Freddie Smalls? And she said, yeah, that's him. I get a fan come to me at McDonald's in the middle of the state 30, 40 years later and say, Boom Boom, how you doing, man? I remember the games. That's what you're talking about. That love. 40 years later, someone still knows who you are in that state, man. Wow. I was like, wow. And the game was Jerry.
We all have those experiences, but I'm going to say this to you. And again, I know you are humble. I know you are, but you got to accept this, my brother from another mother.
Come on, brother, I'm ready.
What you did on that field was something different. So yeah, you're going to have fans 100 years later, brother. What you did on that field, that number 30 was something different. You understand?
Played a different style of game. Played a total different style of game. Played a game was definitely like a Lawrence Taylor type style, with the Gerald Talley type style. That freelance backer you don't see anymore. We were that freelance backer. We covered the 2 1 and 2s out of the backfield and the 3s on the corners. We covered the tight ends. We were that guy that covered everybody. We were that guy we were the blitzer. We're the main blitzer. We're the ones that come in with the arsenal tack of blitzing. We're the guy got to make the big plays. We're the guy that lead the teams in tackles, 110 tackles a season. That was that position. That's why you see the flamboyant the swag of it, the fumbles, the dancing. And I was one of the first person that ever really danced. It wasn't Terrell Owens. I was doing that since Billy White Shoe Johnson. That's why you see all the Michael Jackson moonwalks and all that, because Coach Nehlen put me up to that. He was saying, you got the fire, you got the ball, the fans love you. Every game, he said, Freddie, come here. I want them in the game early. I want the fans in the game early. You can do it. You're the one they love. They spark, they trigger off of you. Do something, make a big play, and get the people in the game. That's what he would tell me.
Wow.
He said, dance, just get them, he said, when you get them in the game, do your dance, and just keep them in the game.
Wow.
And that's why you see me do all that, because Nehlen gave me the green light. He told me to do it. You see me flipping, you see me doing back sogs, flipping, running up on the fans, because he gave me the green light. He said, they love you, and they trigger off of you. Keep them up, Freddie. They'll do anything you say do. That was Nehlen, man.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. See, let me tell you something now. Now, that's Mountaineer football. You understand? That defense, the way you guys had it back then, and again, watching it from afar before I got to WVU to understand how good that defense was, you guys took no prisoners. Let me tell you something. That was rock 'em, sock 'em, punch you in the face, punch you in the mouth, took no shorts. It's funny, because I guarantee you to this day, if you talk to any Boston College player,
God bless you. God bless, rest in power, rest in peace to Ironhead, your boy you played with. Ironhead felt that defense, and Ironhead, he punished a lot of people. He was punished. He could not punish us. We were abusive backers, and we was waiting licks and chops for a guy like him. And he only had 50 yards that game. Just getting crushed.
Yeah.
Because the defense, Nehlen was totally defensive mindset, strategic, analytic, individual, attack, scratch, claw, hit him, hurt him. He always said, no matter if we lose, the other team is going to call us next week and say, thank you, because Penn State, whomever we play, could not play the next week. They were all beat up. We done beat them up. And the coach from Virginia said, thank you, Coach Nehlen, for giving me the opportunity to win the game. They were hurt. Y'all hurt them. That was the philosophy. Well, you beat me, but you're going to hurt. You're not going to be able to play next week.
Yeah.
That was a philosophy.
Physical. Let me ask you this. So when you watch the style of what's going on, not just in West Virginia, just in college football right now, from the way that you played, the physicality that you played with, what do you think is missing in college football right now, Boom?
Tenacity, the love of it. The love is gone. I don't think a lot of kids play because they love the game. People are doing things like they're structured like a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you doing this because you love the game? I believe the passion, for me, the love of the game is really, really absent, because they've taken so much out of the game for you to enjoy yourself, to get a big lick, to get a big catch, to do a big dance. They penalize you for any little thing. So you're not really free out there anymore. So I believe that the passion and the love of the game is just not there no more. It's too analytical for us. It's just too structural. It's just too much flags. The games are too long. My God, the game is 3-4 hours because they keep throwing flags all day. The passion of the game is just dead.
Wow.
And from my time, you love it. I mean, you even love when a dude got a crack back on you. You get up, man. That's a good block. Man, he got me. Boy. I'm gonna get you back, though. You better look around, because I'm gonna get you back. But for me, the passion of the game, the love of it, kids are playing for the money. I never played for a dime. Eugene, when I got drafted, I never knew I had a signing bonus coming. Somebody said, yo, man, we got a check for you. A check? I didn't play the first game yet. No, Freddie, we settled your contract. San Diego gave you a signing bonus. Huh? Got money? I didn't even know I had a signing bonus coming.
Wow. Yeah.
Playing because I love the doggone game. That
Yeah.
was it.
See?
That was it. And that's what I see. What's missing is the passion of the game, that passionate individual, that dog in somebody who loving what they do and not doing it for a contract, not doing it for just money, not doing it for just fame and fortune, but doing it because, man, if I asked you a question, somebody asked me, boom, could you play this game for free? Heck yeah, I can play it for free.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. No, I look, I agree with you. And I think that mentality, I'm from Jersey City, you're from Philly. We speak the same language.
Right, right,
So
exactly.
yeah, I think when you come from places like that, you kind of have a different perspective. You have a different appreciation for life. You have a different appreciation for opportunity. So therefore, like you said, yeah, you didn't have to pay me to play this game. I would have played it for free because of the love of it. When you miss that, I think there's a lot that goes into what's happening now. So I'm gonna ask you this: getting into the recruiting part of it, when WVU recruited you, you look at what's going on now with these NIL deals. So now kids are picking schools, who's going to pay them the most, right? I didn't even think about, obviously, we didn't have that set up that way back then. But when West Virginia recruited you, what was it about Coach Nehlen and the staff in WVU that made you select West Virginia?
Well, that's a good point, Gene, because I was talking to, is Kadai, the radio announcer? Is it Kadari? Kadai? I mean, he's been announcing, he's got a talk show down there. He's been there about 40-something years.
Hmm.
And he was at the scrimmage and he came and, I mean, that's perfect. He said, Freddie, man, it's different now. I said, in what way you mean it's different? He said, it's different. He's like, some of those players out there are getting paid 6 to 10 figures. And I said to him, well, what about a player like a Freddie Smalls back then? What would I? He said, Freddie, you would have made a lot of money, the kind of player you were. I said, wow. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that some of these guys on this field are getting that kind of money.
Yeah.
Wow. And man, we had one little room. Remember steak night? Remember
That's
steak
right.
night on Wednesday?
That's right.
And you only allow one steak. I
That's right.
walked in that cafeteria, man. That place that they built there, I would have never left that building because they got a sleep room in there. They got a sleep room. They got little chambers that you can sleep and cover you up. I'd have never left there. Don't give me no apartment rent money. Coach, I live downstairs because the cab is upstairs. Yeah, and
Right.
the TV, everywhere you go, you got screens, you can watch TV. They got a game room, got a barber room. Eugene, and they got a studio like what me and you do. They got a studio in there. You can go
Yeah.
practice your craft, DJing or being an analyst. I would have never left the building.
Yeah.
Never.
So I gotta ask you. So with that being said, right? Every time I go back to Morgantown and I go back to our facility, I look at it and say, man, wait a second now. I know everything evolves, but I'm like, come on now. You're right. Because I would have been right with you. I wouldn't have left the building either with what they have down there now compared to what we came from. But I thank God to see the evolution of where we are now.
Right. And that's what you knew you were a part of this product right here, this brand.
Right.
You knew that you were the forefathers. This is the legacy. This is the vision that you never had that would you apply and reconstructed that vision. And wow, I'm looking at this place and I'm just like, I'm in awe. And I have to be perfectly about it. In a way, I didn't like it because I said to a couple of fellas, this would have took away the hard work out of me.
Okay.
If I had all this, I probably wouldn't have worked as hard. If I had all this, I probably wouldn't be as thirsty and hungry and gritty and angry. If I had all this, I probably would have been softer because you can go from the sleep room to the game room to the barber shop. There's a barber shop in there. To the barber, get a haircut, work out, go upstairs, get something to eat, and come back and take a nap, and then go to practice.
Yeah. Boy, they got it good, don't they?
They got it. Wow. Amazing. And then you can go watch some of your old highlights.
Wow. Just
It's amazing. And then I'm with Lori. And the funny thing about Lori, like Freddie, I know this is lovely, but you really think this is lovely? She said, wait till you go see Oklahoma's. Wait till
yeah.
you go a place. Wait till you go to a place like Penn State. See that Freddie, they're bigger than Tennessee. They're bigger than ours. Like, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's marvelous. It's wonderful. But for me, I don't think I would have been the player I would have been. I wouldn't have that fire. I wouldn't have that grit, that hungriness, being broke, like John Hollifield said. And we were all poor and broke. But look at the fire, what it produced. Look at the spark. Look what it rejuvenated. Being broke, like John kept saying it. We were all broken poor, but we all had a fight in us, man. We had that
Absolutely.
dog in us. We had a chip on our shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, we always played with a chip, we had a chip on our shoulders, man. You know? But that's what the time of Morgantown, what West Virginia did for us. It made us play like we had a chip on our shoulder. Like we're gonna show you, Ohio State, why you didn't offer me a scholarship. Penn State, I'm gonna show you, you're gonna regret you didn't offer me a scholarship. You know, Penn State, you're gonna regret that you didn't offer me a scholarship. I'm gonna show you it. I got a chip on my shoulder. That's what it brought. That's what Nehlen established. It brought that out. You know, all of us was rejected. None of us went to the school that we wanted to go to. And the school we wanted to go to didn't offer us a scholarship. That's why I went off on Penn State every game, because he said I wasn't good enough to play there. And I played in front of that guy. He came to one of the games I played. I had 2 sacks, 10 tackles, and said I wasn't good enough. So guess what? You caused a chip return, though. You put a chip on my shoulder, and when I see your players, I'm going to get them. Thank God I was born in Philadelphia, because that's what Philly did. Get them, boom. Get them. Doug Flutie, I'm going to get you, man. I'm going to get you. That's what we had. We all had a chip on our shoulder.
Wow. And you know something? The funny thing, when AB and I transferred to WVU, the best thing that could have possibly happened, it's like what you just said. I came from a different time period where, in AB as well, we were fortunate. Everybody recruited us with blue chip All-Americans, all that nonsense, right? But the one thing that West Virginia and Coach Nehlen, for me, it was that sense of family, the sense of unity. It wasn't about the individual. It was about the collective team.
Right.
So I understood that. And I was coming off a situation where my older sister just passed.
Wow.
Way Pitt handled that situation, I didn't like it. My family didn't like it. So I leaving Pitt had nothing to do with football, because I wasn't redshirted. I was one of 4 true freshmen that wasn't redshirted.
Right.
So when she passed, and the way that went down, it quickly showed me something, that this is not the right fit for me. These people don't care about me. But when I visited West Virginia, I'll never forget it. Coach Nehlen sat me down, and he reminded me of my high school coach, who's like a surrogate father to me, Frank Gargiulo at St. Joe's at the time. He said to me, this isn't about just football. What do you want to do with your life? Like my recruiting visit was, it had very little to do about, he already knew what I could do on the field.
Right.
The thing was, I want to know, what do you want to do in life?
Right.
I was good. I still took my 5 visits when I transferred or whatever, but I already knew. When I committed to Coach Nehlen, West Virginia at the time, for me, it was what I needed.
Right.
Coming from Jersey City, going to Pitt, going from one inner city into another inner city, I needed to be in Morgantown.
You have to be off balance. You got to go something that's not balanced, like where you come from. And that's what Morgantown was. Philly was here. Morgantown was here. I didn't need to be up here. I needed to be down here. And that's what humbles you more. That's where the humility and the humbleness come in, because we don't have everything everybody else has. We don't have the big cities. We don't have the big clubs. Remember, when I was at West Virginia, I couldn't move out till I was a senior. So we lived together for 3 years. We lived in Towers for 3 years. You couldn't move out till you was a senior. So I stayed in Towers for 3 years, and it built that band of brotherhood. That's why we were so close, because we was always together. That's why we're able to pull games out, because we were so much bonded that we are down 20-6, and we could come back because we so tight with each other. You know that you saw that in those games. That's what Nehlen created. He created that family, that brotherhood, that atmosphere of togetherness, unity, and tranquility. That's what it brought. You mess with a Mountie, you hit one of us. We're coming to see you. You know, you touch one of our boys, and it has happened. Well, we went and knocked on fraternity doors. 50 of us. That was that band of brotherhood that he created. That family you're talking about, that love. And when we all got we just all got together this weekend. You should see the love, brother. You should see the love. Oh my God, you should see the love, man. We took off right at the age of 18. We didn't even ask about how your family doing. We just went right at it. I remember you did this. Remember when you remember that? Boom, come on. Who was this? Who did this? We went right there, man, for 2.5 days. That love. And when we left, I prayed for us. We hold hands, we hugging like we brothers. And that's West Virginia. That's what it produces. That's what it manifests. That's what it creates. It creates that band of brotherhood that lasts for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
So when we all die and we all get to heaven, you're gonna see us up there talking Morgantown in heaven. Man, you remember what you did at West? Remember this? We're gonna be, and God's gonna be like, what? We're gonna be talking about Morgantown in heaven.
Well, here's the deal. God's a Mountaineer fan.
I believe that. They say West Virginia, wild and wonderful, almost heaven.
Okay, so God's about to. He might chime in on some of the conversations too. He had the front row seat to watch all those good games.
Right, he might tell you I had the best seat in the house. I was at those games, but I had the best seat in the house.
He saw number 30 do his thing.
I'm telling you, man. And look at it. You're behind me. I just want to say, look, but not just the guys you went to school with. You got to look at the guys 10 years behind you that bond, like when Rasheed came over, who was, 10, 15 years behind me. Quincy Wilson. Oh, gee. It's like it's like we went to school together. We got that kind of love. And we're 20 years apart. But that's what it does.
I don't think people understand, man. Like I told you from day one when we first met, it had to have been my sophomore year in Morgantown, and you was on the sideline. And I don't know if you remember this. Actually, it was before that.
I ran into you at Pitt.
At Pitt.
And then I ran into you.
And then I saw you again on the sideline at West Virginia, and me and AB couldn't play because we were ineligible. That transfer rule.
Because I was ineligible, exactly.
Right.
And I remember you told me then that I'm going to probably be transferring to West Virginia. That's when you came and approached me and told me that. I said, yeah. He said, yeah. And I think my other subordinate player, I think we both going to be transferring to West Virginia. And you did. Next time I saw you was on the sideline.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if you remember. I hugged you like my long lost big brother.
Right. I mean, but that bond was just that click. It's like, the Bible says if I take a sword and cling it, it's just going to make a noise. But if I hit it, it's going to bring sparks. It brings fire. And that's what our sword does with each other. Our swords don't cling, they spark. And brothers loving on brothers, because we at a time right now, a lot of us are not so healthy. We were dealing with a joint pain, and a couple guys had open heart surgery. I had surgery, my esophagus, breathing issues. And when we see each other, man, and we knew what each other looked like when we were younger. Now we see the grays coming, and we see oh man, hold on, give me a second, man. I try to get up. We see all that, and that's
Right.
what bonds it even more.
Right.
Because now you know you need that brother. I need
Absolutely.
Eugene. I need Eugene. I mean, I'm not capable of. I don't have that 30 body no more. So I need this brother. I need wisdom. I need love. I need comfort. I need his prayers. I need his support. And that's what the seed that we planted. We planted that seed for now. It wasn't about then. It was about now. God knows you're gonna need them brothers now, you know, and that's
Absolutely.
where that.
No,
Mm-hmm.
that's dude, you're 100% right. And I'm so every time the older I get and I think about what Coach built and the type of people he put together, you're 100% correct. All these years later, we still have the same bond, even if we didn't play on the same team.
Still
You
connected,
know?
not even saying disconnected. I see Pat White, the major. These guys are about the love. Slayton, you see these guys, the love. And
Yeah.
this is what is missing there now. They have taken that away from what Nehlen allowed. Nehlen allowed a Pat White 20 years behind to celebrate a Freddie Smalls, and a Freddie Smalls celebrate a Pat White, and Pat White celebrate Eugene, Napoleon. He allowed that. He created that. These coaches today are not creating that atmosphere. They kind of keep the players protected away from us.
Yeah.
Instead of,
And
I don't want to go there, but I'm just saying, instead of
you're right.
and that engagement. And that's what Nehlen created. He created the family that's not just needed for that moment, but 20 years from now, you're gonna need these brothers. You're gonna need these brothers,
Absolutely.
man. You
No,
know?
you're 100% right. You can go there because it's the truth. What you're saying is the absolute truth.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove that, you go back to a game now. Like I said, you is who you are. I don't care if it was my era, if it was the era 3 years past me, the Pat White era past him. Everybody is going to show love and respect because we honor our Mountaineer brothers.
That's right.
Honor.
They don't distance us. Right now I was there, Eugene. I mean, we were distance. We were distance. And you could see the distance. But when you were playing, I came back, man. I'm watching you play, AB play, Adrian Morrell play.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I was out last year, and I went out with Adrian Morrell and Mike Collins, and they're 15 years behind me, but this is who I'm hanging with till 2 a.m. getting food.
yeah.
Kids that I watch play, and they said, "Boom, you're the reason why I came. I was 9 years old when I watched that game." So we vibing. We here come them swords. We clean sparking. And I'm hanging with these guys. I'm hanging with Major. That's what West Virginia has established. That family, that I call it that's a covenant. That covenant. But now today, being down there this weekend, you didn't see that. You don't feel that. That's not connected. And if I was any of these new coaches, man, you don't know what y'all missing out on. That's the first thing as a parent. As a parent, when I was dealing with my kids, the first thing I asked the coach, are they going to be able to connect with each other 20 years from now? Are you going to
Mm.
create that atmosphere? That's the coaches know. Oh man, here come boom, boom. Yeah, because are she going to be able to bond with these players 20 years from now?
That's important. That's a
It's
legitimate
important.
question, though. That's a legitimate question. And it's so funny that you say that because I thank God for it. I get an opportunity because of my show to connect with all Mountaineers from every era. And it's so, and we go back and the same thing we're doing right now. We reminisce about our time in Morgantown. So
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have to play with a certain player to understand what Morgantown gave us. And we can
Right.
reminisce on that. And what Coach Nehlen gave us, we can reminisce on that. I had Rich Rod on here, Coach.
I saw that. I saw that. I saw that
And
one. Yeah.
right, it's so funny how you can see it was still connecting in his head as we were talking. I mean,
Still
and
connecting.
You can't. I don't think West Virginia is different than any other place I've seen. And I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Iowa. I've been to these places, Penn State, Ohio State, these places where the family bond, the unity for the players are supposed to be intertwined. I don't think it's not like what we have in West Virginia. It's
You're
not.
right, because I remember going to Ohio State, and we all used to go to other schools. Remember, you saw us down there. We were down there when I met you. We
That's
would
right.
go to other schools and hang out. And Pepper Johnson said, "Man, is it like that in West Virginia? Y'all really close like that?" Because we came down with 3 carloads, and he just saw the bond. And Pepper Johnson, remember Pepper Johnson? Pepper
Of course.
Johnson. And when I was at Ohio State, they were all scattered abroad, but
Yeah.
they didn't even live together. But we lived together, and Pepper Johnson asked me, "Is it really like that? Are y'all really that close?" I said, "Yeah." The other schools, teams noticed the bond of the band of brothers. They noticed it, picked it off just like that. Man, y'all tight, y'all close, because we're cracking jokes on each other. We played boxing back in the day. We all with each other, tackling each other. I came back to school 10 years later, and we used to always play with each other, hands on with each other,
Right.
flat boxing. I started to do that with Mike Logan them time, and them kids were just different, like,
Right.
So I started to see the things start to change. We used to play this game where we throw the football, right? We be like, "Eugene, what up, man? Yo, man, Eugene, catch the ball. You catch it, we tackle you."
Right.
That's what we used to do. So
Right.
everybody always get it. When that ball come your way, don't catch that ball. And
Catch that
some
ball,
dummies catch it, get him. But that
Right.
was that you. I'm just relating, amplifying
Right.
to what we're talking about. That love, man.
Yeah.
You know.
We had this thing as running backs. We used to wrestle with the linemen. We
Yeah.
used to wrestle.
They would do that too. I see Scotty Dixon. John Hollowfield's over there. He had his back turned, and soon Scott Dixon saw him. The first thing he did was hit him in the back like a linebacker. Boom, gotcha, boy. Yeah, and he turned. He go, "Oh my!" But that's what we did.
Yeah.
We would clear
Yeah.
out the chairs and have wrestling matches on the
That's right.
floors. We
That's
had
right.
wrestling matches.
That's
Robert
right.
Pickett get up. Yo, I want to wrestle Boom. I want to wrestle Boom. Yo, Boom, he calling you out. I got to go wrestle.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
I'm gonna tell you something now. Me and AB and any lineman that played with us could attest, if they're gonna be honest, they could attest to this. We were undefeated.
Right.
We're undefeated. And our me and him as running backs, we would slam our linemen. We were undefeated. So here's the thing. I love the reminiscing, man. And this is what I'm talking about. But I understand what you're saying, Boom, about what's currently missing in our culture today. We have to figure out how to get back to that, because until you get back to that, it's going to be hard to win tough games.
That's
Y'all won
right.
games. We won games because we loved each other. We played for each other. We played for that flying WV. We played for our coaching staff. We played for that university. We played for that state. We loved that state, our university, and our brotherhood, right?
That foxhole dog mentality we had. It was a foxhole. And this is a conversation, me and a couple of brothers yesterday had a big kind of disagreement. They were talking about what you're saying about how it is now, right? And because they work in the school system, they coach. And I'm different because I've always been my own boss, you know? And I said exactly what you said. He said, "Well, Boom, you don't understand the way." I said, "But what do we have to do to change? We have to do something to make a change. We just can't compromise with it, go along with it. Dr. Martin Luther King didn't compromise and go along with it. Malcolm X didn't compromise and go along with it. It cost them their lives. When you stand up for something, stand against something, you're going to get friction. You're going to be persecuted." So they were like, "Well, but you don't want." I said, "Why do you think I've been a preacher all my life? Because I'm always going to speak the truth, and I know what comes out of my mouth is not going to be agreeable. But to make change, You got to stand up for something and stand against it and not agree with it and not the good. What your boy Kwame said, don't get with the get along, the go along, get along gang.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You might be isolated in left field, look like, but to make something, to make a change, you see how these kids are being given. Stop giving.
Yeah.
Stop giving a team that's 0-10 trophies. Why are you going to give a team 0-10 trophies? Stop it. Let kids learn to earn something, and when they earn it, they'll learn to appreciate it. And when they appreciate it, they will take care of it. But we're giving kids today trophies that are 0-10. I mean, we're rewarding losing.
Yeah.
You reward winning. You reward hard work. But we can't build that fire in them. We had to bring that fire back where he said, man, I want a trophy, man. I got to win some games. I want a trophy. We got to win. And it's the only way we're going to get some trophies. Well, it's the only way we're going to get some medals, man. We got to win. You building something, man. The kid today don't have to worry about if he's going to get a trophy. The parents will get it. We get trophies. Everybody get trophies at the end of the year. Everybody get T-shirts and hats and sweatsuits.
So now they call that the participation trophy. Just because you participated, you're going to get a trophy.
Right. And the kid, you built no passion in the kid. You built no attributes of dedication, desire to go after, to go out and get it. You didn't make him hungry. You fed him. You fed him. He's not hungry enough. And you understand why his work ethics is not as good, because he said, I don't have to do anything. They're going to give it to us anyway. So I'm going to work for it. You're going to give it to us anyway.
I'm going to ask you this because you do realize you're going to come back on next week, because we're going to get into the other side of your life next week. But I want to ask you this last question. If a parent comes to you right now and asks you, Mr. Smalls, why should my son go to West Virginia? What say you?
Wow, now it's because I would guide him that route because I love the school. I believe blue and gold will win or lose. I don't care if we win or lose. The hat is always going to be on. The gear going to be on, no matter what. We can be 0-13. I'm going to still rep the school. I love that place. I love it. I love it. I know it changed my life. I would tell that parent, marvelous, a great place to go. It's not just about the football, but the people, that state, the people, the community down there. I'm walking in stores, and I just noticed it, walking through the hotels. Asians, Caucasians, Latinos, we all speaking. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Just going to the supermarket, going down the aisle. A Caucasian brother, me, don't even know it. Hey, good afternoon. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? How you doing? That's West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's West Virginia. And that's not just going to the school itself, but the place, the community. It's just a wonderful place where you can become transparent in life and you will be loved. There's no threat there. There's no threat there, none at all. You can put your guard down.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell a parent. But football is what he's going to do anyway. But the life down there, and he might not come back home because a lot of players I played with still live there.
Absolutely.
Lynn Murray, Scott Dixon, a lot of the guys still live there. They didn't leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a great place to raise your kids, man. That's for sure. It's a great community. And I'm like you. It doesn't matter where I go. I'm going to have something on with West Virginia on it.
Exactly. And guess what? And win it with pride too. Win it, not just to be win it, but win it
with pride. Listen, swagger.
Swag, exactly.
With some swagger.
With some swag on it. I was and I remember one time I was with LL Cool J. We were coming back from Vegas. I happens to have a West Virginia hat on. And about 20 West Virginian folks gets on the plane. Didn't even acknowledge LL. We sitting there. saw the hat and say, "You went to WVU? I got a star sitting there." They're like, "Whatever, whatever." Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, come on in the back of the end. We with us. I went in the back for a minute, and LL was amazed how you don't know them people. No, this is on our head.
That's right.
I said we're like a cult. West Virginia's like a cult. It's like a cult. And when they see each other, they rubbing. And guess what? They gonna know stories that you know 20, 30 years ago.
You better say that.
They're gonna
That's
know
right.
the stories. Oh yeah, I was at that game. Oh, I remember when Haas, Freddie, you remember when Haas took it in on Pitt when we finally beat Penn in 10 years and Haas took it in there? 40-year ago story.
Yep.
And that's when I was back in the plane. Elsie, you can go. He told me, go ahead. I flew the whole flight back with them guys, but he was amazed how we connect because of that symbol on our hats. That's that, man. Just that symbol. Just that
Listen,
symbol.
brother. So I'm bringing you back on next week so we can get into the Fred Boom Smalls off the football field and what you've done and how you contributed many years in the entertainment business.
Right.
So we're going to sign out for now. Fans, get your popcorn ready because next week, Boom will be back for part 2 of what he's accomplished off. If you think what he did on the field was something, wait till this interview, what he did off the field.
I'm glad you're doing that because many people ask me to come on podcasts, man, and you're going to be the first person that I'm going to give a podcast, and I might say some things like all these things that people are saying. I'm going to correct some people, man, because some of them are lies, and I know it because I'm there. I was there. I'm there. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm there. Like the movie MWA, that didn't happen. I was there. I was there at the part where they got arrested. I was there. Me and Big Daddy Kane almost got arrested too. I was there. It didn't go down like that. You gonna hear stuff. And that was not in Oklahoma. That was in Detroit.
Wow.
At the St. Louis Arena.
I can't wait. So we're going to come right back at you. All right, Mountaineer fans, you know how we're going to end this thing. Let's go.
Mountaineers.
Till next week, we'll be back. See you.